On a quiet February night in Albuquerque, life took a devastating turn for the Otero family. What began as an ordinary evening soon spiraled into horror. Nicholas Otero had been speaking with a girl online, unaware that meeting her face-to-face would lure him into a deadly trap. When his older brother, Elias, stepped in to defend him, the situation escalated in an instant. Gunfire shattered the silence, leaving both the family and their community reeling. But who orchestrated this? How could a simple meeting end in such tragedy? This is a tale of deception, danger, and the Otero family's pursuit of justice. Elias Otero was born on November 19, 1996, in Albuquerque, the largest city in New Mexico. He was the first child of Luis and Alicia Otero, a hard-working couple who dreamed of creating a loving home. That dream grew into reality as the family welcomed 4 more children. Elias was raised in a caring, supportive environment, always surrounded by his siblings. Among them was Nicola, for years his junior. From early on, Elias showed bravery and a deep sense of responsibility. He had a natural instinct to protect others and was guided by a strong moral compass. In high school, his outgoing nature won him many friends, and he became a source of pride for his parents. Although he enjoyed video games and an active social life, Elias also thrived academically and was admired for his sharp wit, which made him well-liked among classmates. When it came time to choose a career, he followed his protective instincts and pursued law enforcement. His family wasn't surprised. Elias had always been steady, composed, and committed to justice. He naturally commanded respect and had a gift for bringing order to any situation. His mother, Alicia, often turned to him for support, trusting his maturity in handling challenges. His respectful nature and gentlemanly character set him apart, embodying values uncommon among many of his peers. By late 2020, Elias had completed his training as a corrections officer and had already begun working at the Albuquerque Penitentiary. At only 24, Elias had already built a bright future. He was advancing in his career and had recently gotten engaged. While planning his wedding and preparing for a new chapter with his fiancée, he chose to stay close to his parents and siblings, preserving the tight family bond that meant so much to him. But on the night of February 10, 2021, everything changed in an instant. The day had begun like any other, yet by evening it unraveled into tragedy. That night, Nicholas, Elias's younger brother, struck up a conversation with 18-year-old Annabella Dukes through a popular social media app. Captivated by her beauty and charm, he quickly felt drawn to her. To his surprise, Anna suggested they meet in person later that same night. Excited by the opportunity, Nicholas agreed to meet and drove his red Lexus to the address Anna gave him. Confident and eager, he thought nothing of leaving home late at night, since his job at a nearby cemetery often kept him out during those hours. When he arrived, Anna's beauty surpassed even his expectations. She suggested they head to a park in the city center for a more private setting. But during the drive, Nicholas began to feel uneasy. Anna commented on his diamond-studded necklace and asked how much it was worth. She also questioned whether he had a weapon or cash in the car. The probing felt suspicious, but despite the warning signs, Nicholas decided to continue, hoping the evening would turn out better once they reached the park. Nicholas noticed that Anna's phone showed an active call, hinting that someone had been listening in on their conversation. Before he could process it, another car pulled up behind them, and 3 armed men stepped out. The situation escalated quickly as the men forced Nicholas out of his Lexus. In the tension of the moment, one attacker even asked for permission to use his weapon against him. Luckily for Nicholas, the men stopped short of harming him, limiting their actions to searching his car. Still, his suspicions that Anna had lured him into a trap grew undeniable. Those fears were confirmed when he saw her casually conversing with the assailants, as if they were longtime friends. The betrayal stung even deeper when he realized Anna appeared to be romantically involved with one of them. The ringleader of the group was Adrian Avila, just 17 years old, yet carrying himself with authority. After taking Nicholas's diamond necklace, credit cards, and some cash, Nicholas assumed the ordeal was ending. But it was only beginning. Unsatisfied, the attackers forced him back into his Lexus. One climbed into the driver's seat while the others split between his car and their own, keeping him under the threat of guns. They ordered Nicholas to call his older brother Elias and demand $1,000 along with a firearm in exchange for his freedom. If he refused, they warned, he would be killed. Speeding toward the Otero family home, the group believed they had control. But Elias, roused from deep sleep by his brother's frantic call, quickly took charge. After alerting his siblings to the danger, he promised them he would not allow the criminals to get what they wanted. Above all, he was determined to protect his family. When the criminals arrived, Elias confronted them without hesitation. Armed and carrying a concealed carry permit, he stepped outside to face the attackers, but the confrontation quickly turned deadly. According to later investigations, Adrian acted faster than Elias could react, firing his weapon and fatally wounding him. The scene became even more traumatic as Elias' family, who had been watching in horror, witnessed the tragic event unfold. The attackers fled the scene 2 on foot and 2 in the car, while Nicola used the chaos to escape and seek safety. Around 2:20 a.m., one of Elias's sisters called emergency services reporting her brother's critical injuries. Meanwhile, Luis, their father, was jolted awake by the sound of his phone. The call from his daughter brought the worst news imaginable. Stricken with grief, he struggled to explain the situation to Alicia Elias, his mother, who was devastated. Rushing to their son's side, they arrived at the scene in less than 5 minutes, only to find Elias lying on the pavement. They couldn't tell if he was still alive, but the sight of his motionless body pierced their hearts. Paramedics arrived shortly after, but it was too late. Elias was pronounced dead that fateful morning. He was just 24 years old. Alicia later confessed that she couldn't stop asking herself why such a tragedy had to happen to her eldest son, a young man who had always stayed out of trouble, avoided bad influences, and never dabbled in drugs. The police discovered 3 handguns and a rifle near Elias's body, while his grieving family struggled to process their loss. They recounted the events to officers. They explained how Nicola had arrived with 3 armed men who were threatening him. Nicola reappeared later that night, shaken and in tears. He was now burdened not only by the loss of his brother, his role model, but also by an overwhelming sense of guilt for unintentionally putting Elias in harm's way. The authorities launched an investigation to bring the culprits to justice while canvassing the area for evidence. Detectives found Nicholas's car abandoned and damaged a few blocks from the crime scene. An autopsy confirmed that Elias had been struck by 5 bullets, all of which proved fatal. As part of the inquiry, Nicholas had to recount the harrowing events to investigators, a process that was both painful and traumatic. Despite the emotional toll, he was driven by a deep desire for justice for his brother. Nicholas shared everything he could remember, including his brief online interaction with Anna and her role in the events. He revealed that after the crime, Anna had texted him claiming she was on the run from the 3 men whom she described as dangerous and unhinged. Anna insisted she didn't know the men involved and claimed she had nowhere to go. But despite her attempts to distance herself from the incident, neither Nicholas nor the detectives believed her. A few days later, after laying Elias to rest, his fiancée copyright, he found the strength to speak to the media about the man she had planned to spend her life with. In one interview, she described Elias as someone with a huge heart, deeply devoted to his family and friends. She expressed that neither she nor the Otero family could comprehend why such a tragedy had to happen to someone so undeserving. The family's only hope was that justice would rise to meet the circumstances. The heartbreaking case shook the Albuquerque community, leaving its residents grappling with disbelief, anger, sadness, and frustration. Many sought answers and justice in what was shaping up to be one of the city's most violent years. By mid-2021, the number of violent crimes was on track to surpass the record of 80 homicides set in 2019. Experts had already warned in 2017 that Albuquerque was facing a rising tide of violence, but despite promises from officials to improve the justice system, many families felt abandoned, with repeat offenders often facing little consequence. Elias. His death only deepened the community's distrust in the system. The Otero family in particular felt increasingly disheartened as investigators withheld details about the case to avoid compromising the investigation. This lack of communication left them uncertain whether the culprits would ever face justice. Meanwhile, the police worked discreetly to identify the suspects, focusing on Anna's social media activity. Their investigation revealed that she had been chatting with another man the night before Elias's murder. Using the same tactic of luring victims through social media, Anna and her accomplices had robbed this man of his car but left him physically unharmed. It was that stolen vehicle the group used in their next plan, this time aiming for a bigger target. With these findings, the police intensified their efforts to identify the other 3 individuals involved. The first to be apprehended was Adrian. Evidence pointed to his central role in the crime, and his past made matters worse. Adrian was no stranger to law enforcement, having been implicated in a 2020 homicide where a 16-year-old boy was fatally shot. Despite the severity of that case, a judge had released Adrian on bail, requiring only that he wear a GPS monitor. In December 2021, just before Christmas, a warrant was issued for Adrian's arrest. On December 27th, he turned himself in and was charged with open murder, kidnapping 2 counts of armed robbery with a deadly weapon, evidence tampering, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. After Adrian's initial court appearance, Alicia told a local news station that the family was relieved by the case's progress. She recalled how she and her husband couldn't hold back their tears upon learning of Adrian's arrest. Alicia shared that during her son's funeral, she had promised to fight for him, and that promise had become her strength and reason to carry on. As for Anna, she remained at large. The Albuquerque Police Department circulated her photo, asking the community for help locating her, while Anna appeared smiling in the picture. Her legal troubles were mounting, and her role in the crime made her a wanted figure. Alicia made a public plea urging anyone who spotted Anna to contact Crime Stoppers, a community program that allows people to provide anonymous tips about criminal activity. She described Anna as dangerous and a threat to society. In response, the organization offered a $2,500 reward for information leading to Anna's arrest. Meanwhile, the police withheld the identities of the other 2 suspects and did not issue warrants for their capture. It wasn't until late January 2022, about a month after Adrian's capture, that authorities located and arrested Anna. The young woman faced multiple charges, including open murder, kidnapping, 2 counts of armed robbery, evidence tampering, and conspiracy. She was held in a detention facility without bail. A local news outlet reported that law enforcement was still searching for a 3rd suspect following Anna's arrest. Alicia once again appeared on television, reaffirming her hope for justice in her son's case. However, despite the progress, Alicia believed a crucial battle remained. Advocating for stricter laws in New Mexico, she openly stated that nothing less than a life sentence for each perpetrator would suffice, and voiced concerns about the possibility of bail, allowing them to walk free before facing trial. To find solace and a sense of purpose, Alicia connected with other mothers who had also experienced the unimaginable loss of a child to violence. These women met regularly, offering each other support and brainstorming ways to combat community violence. Through these conversations, Alicia reflected deeply on the tragedy and sought answers to the questions that haunted her. She concluded that unknowingly, Nicholas had made himself an easy target. Both he and Elias often posted photos and videos of their cars and belongings on social media, inadvertently drawing the attention of individuals like Anna and others with malicious intent. In August 2022, Anna accepted a plea deal during a virtual hearing. She pleaded guilty to aggravated armed robbery with a firearm, conspiracy, and other charges. In exchange, the charges of murder and kidnapping were dropped under the terms of the agreement. Anna was sentenced to serve between 5 and 15 years in prison. Adrian, on the other hand, pleaded not guilty to all charges during his own virtual hearing. Alicia and Luis expressed their devastation to the media, describing how the overwhelming evidence against Adrian made the judge's decision even more incomprehensible. They feared for their safety and that of their remaining children, with Adrian free in the community. However, the prosecutors appealed the ruling, and much to the relief of the Otero family, the state Supreme Court ultimately overturned the judge's decision. In the spring of 2024, Adrian reached a plea agreement covering both the 2020 case and Elias's 2021 case. In court, he admitted guilt to both crimes. Prosecutors revealed that his accomplices, including Anna, were ready to testify against him. Investigators determined that Anna had set up the robbery involving Nicholas and Elias, though they emphasized she was acting under Adrian's control and influence. Before sentencing, Adrian was identified as the leader of the group. He apologized to the victims' families, but the judge still imposed a 29-year prison term. As for the other suspects, little progress has been reported. Despite the outcome, Alicia and Luis continue to grieve their son's loss, often recalling his love for spicy wings and barbecue sauce, memories that now carry both comfort and sorrow.